Kithure Kindiki. Take your seat. You will take oath of communication. Honorable members, our clerk, my deputy, the deputy speaker, members of the press, fellow Kenyans. The Committee on Appointments is established under Standing Order 204 of the National Assembly Standing Orders. It is mandated to consider for approval by the House appointments under Article 152 of the Constitution. In conducting the vetting and approval, the committee shall be guided by the Constitution, the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, and other relevant statutes. The committee held its first sitting on Thursday, 25th July 2024, and considered the brief on arrangements that have been put in place for the conduct of approval hearings. The committee held its second sitting on Wednesday, 31st July 2024, where it received a status update on the progress made on the preparations for the approval hearings. It further noted the referral of 2 additional nominees for appointment as the Cabinet Secretary for East African Community Affairs and the Attorney General. Section 6(4) of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act requires the committee to notify the public of the time and place for holding an approval hearing at least 7 days prior to the hearing. In compliance with the law, the Clerk of the National Assembly published an advertisement in local dailies on 25th July 2024, notifying the 20 nominees for appointment as Cabinet Secretaries and the general public of the place and time of holding the approval hearings. In this regard, the approval hearings are scheduled to begin on Thursday, that's today, 1st August 2024, and conclude on Sunday, 4th August 2024. The committee sitting shall commence from 8 a.m. as with a view of vetting at least 5 nominees per allotted day. In light of the names of an additional 2 nominees being referred for consideration by the committee, advertisements inviting submission of memoranda have been published in the dailies today, 1st August 2024. The deadline for this submission is Thursday, 8th August 2024, and the committee shall resume its hearings for the 2 nominees on Friday, 9th August 2024. During the approval hearings, the committee shall consider the candidates' academic credentials, professional training and experience, personal integrity and background of each nominee. They shall consider the suitability of each nominee for the appointment proposed, having regard to whether the nominee's abilities, experience, and qualities meet the needs of the body to which nomination is being made. Section 6(9) of the Act allows any person prior to the approval hearing and by written statement on oath to provide the clerk with evidence contesting the suitability of a candidate to hold the office to which the candidate has been nominated. In compliance with this requirement, the Clerk of the National Assembly published advertisements in the local dailies on 24th July and 25th July 2024, inviting the public to submit affidavits contesting the suitability of any nominee. The deadline for submission of the written memoranda was 31st July 2024 for the first batch of 10 nominees and 1st August 2024 for the second batch of 10 nominees. As at this morning, the committee has received a mixed basket of over 1,300 submissions. 187 of these submissions are in the form of the affidavits contemplated under Section 6(9) of the Act, The rest of the submissions either generally oppose appointment of one or more nominees, are repetitions, are filed in support of the nominees, or are unrelated to the exercise. Those unrelated to the exercise include applications for appointment as cabinet secretaries in the place of some of the nominees. Some of the statements, somebody simply writes, I reject. Another one just says, I oppose. Another one simply says, unsuitable, with no reasons and not in compliance with the law. I want to assure the Kenyan public that the Committee on Appointments shall thoroughly scrutinize each submission made with regard to the approval hearings. Where the submissions received are not in the form of affidavits as required by the Act, the committee shall, as far as practicable, include the concerns raised in the submissions in the questions that it will pose to the nominees. It is only through this that the committee may conclusively determine the suitability of the nominees for appointment. It's important to point out also that not all the submissions oppose the nominations. There are some who just say, heck of appointing so and so, thank you for appointing so and so on and so forth. The committee has also received queries from the public on whether it will be conducting the approval hearings for all nominees, including the nominees who have been reappointed to the cabinet. The committee shall conduct hearings for all of the nominees. Under Section 2 of the Act, appointment includes reappointments. Additionally, Section 3 of the Act provides that all appointments done under the Constitution or any other law for which the approval of Parliament is required shall not be made unless the appointment is approved or deemed to have been approved by Parliament in accordance with the Act. The courts have also ruled that nominee vetting is a serious and mandatory constitutional process that must be complied with even in cases of reappointment. Precedent and practice in previous parliaments and comparative jurisdictions also uphold the cardinal rule on the mandatory nature of parliamentary approval, even in cases of reappointment to constitutional offices. Article 132 of the Constitution confers upon the President the power to nominate and, with the approval of the National Assembly, appoint cabinet secretaries in accordance with Article 152 of the Constitution. With respect to nominees who are dismissed from the cabinet, the committee shall take into account any reasons for the dismissal, if any, in considering whether to recommend the reappointment of such a nominee. The determination of the question of whether such a nominee is suitable for reappointment rests solely with the National Assembly. After the conclusion of the approval hearings, the committee shall table its report in the House with recommendations either approving or rejecting the nominees for appointment. In conclusion, the Committee on Appointments shall conduct the approval hearings guided by the Constitution, the Act, and all other relevant laws. I thank you. We will now invite the President to administer the oath to the Honorable Professor Kithure Kindiki. You can take the oath with Bible, the Quran, or a farm, as the case may be.
I, Kithure Kindiki, swear the evidence that I shall give before this committee on the matter under consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help.
Yes, Owen.
I'm wondering whether that is on record, because I don't know whether the mic was on or not.
Was the mic on?
So probably we need to redo the oath.
I thought it was on, but for avoidance of doubt, Professor, you may repeat the oath.
I, Kithure Kindiki, do swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee on the matter under its consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Welcome to the Committee of Parliament, Professor. This is the second time this committee is having an opportunity to have a bite at you in terms of vetting and assessing your suitability to hold the office to which you have been nominated. Before we start, we'll do some quick introduction of the team or the committee that's going to interrogate you. On my right is the Deputy Speaker of the House, Honorable Gladys Boss. On my left is the Clerk of the National Assembly, Samuel Njoroge. I'll now invite all the members to introduce themselves, starting with Naisula here. Go around.
Naisula Lesuda, Samburu West MP.
Kimani Shaw. Janet Mohammed. Nelson Koch. Kosi David. Kikani David.
Masemeri.
Abdurrahim Daud.
I'm Ferdinand Kevin Wanyonyi. George Gitonga Murugara.
Owen Bayo. Robert Mbui. Stephen Mule. Dido Raso. Abdi Shuria.
Mishimboko Likoni.
Rehab Mukami Washira.
Amkale Bamisi Saboti.
We also have a secretariat that is supporting this process, led by the Deputy Clerk, Sarah Kyoko, and all those good people sitting behind, who will be giving us some behind-the-curtain support. Professor Kindiki, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We'll start by asking you the obvious questions to introduce yourself briefly, stating your name, family background, education background, work and employment experience, your present engagement, and your status of compliance with all the relevant agencies of government that we passed on to you. You have 5 minutes for this exercise.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and honorable members of this committee. Mr. Speaker, my name is Kithure Kindiki. I am 52 years old. I was born in Tharaka Nithi and grew up there, went to primary school there, and upon my completion of secondary education, I studied law. I have a Bachelor of Laws degree from my university in 1998. I have a Master of Law from the University of Pretoria, and I have a PhD in International Law from the University of Pretoria, which I obtained in 2002. I am married, I have 3 children, and I've worked in the last 25, 26 years in various capacities. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya of 24 years standing, and in the process of my career, Honorable Speaker, I have worked as a lecturer. I taught at my university for 3 years, and later on at the University of Nairobi, 9 years. I rose from the position of assistant lecturer until I became associate dean of the Faculty of Law at the University of Nairobi. In between, I was head of Department of Public Law. I have been licensed to practice law in Kenya, but also before international courts and tribunals, including the International Criminal Court, where I still remain in the list of Defense Counsel. Mr. Speaker, sir, I've been consultant for many organizations, including UN agencies, regional organizations like IGAD, COMESA, African Union, East African Community, and also I am a member of a number of professional organizations, including the Academic Council for the United Nations System, the International Association of the Study of Forced Migration, the International Coalition of Jurists, the East Africa Law Society, and the Law Society of Kenya. I submit.
Thank you. Status of compliance.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I filed to permit through the clerk my compliance with the Higher Education Laws Board, my compliance with the Kenya Revenue Authority, in terms of tax compliance. I also have filed my compliance with all the other statutory bodies, including EACC, as well as the clearance from the Recognized Credit Bureau as was guided. And therefore, I want to submit, Mr. Speaker, that I've complied with all the statutory requirements as was guided by this House.
And you have all documents?
Yes, I do.
You'll pass them on to that side here next to you to give to Sarah Kyoko to have a look at.
Does that include the certificates and?
Yes, yes.